So as we were already mentioning, this is going to be an hybrid event altogether, right? So we are actually at the event venue, and thanks to all those who have already joined this event as of now. My screen will be also already visible to you all. Okay, so we will get started quickly. Okay, so as this group, we are actually focusing on this Agentforce DevLabs series, which is actually happening from last 1 month. We are into the fourth session. So today we have got an interesting session to cover upon, which is going to have your model builders, data grounding into picture. Okay, so I have also got one other member with me who is also going to present. He will be there to present you out on the screen with regards to PDF reading. He is Rahul Uttekar. He will be also there. So, taking it forward, thanks to all the collaborators. These are the collaborators who have been collaborating right from the beginning. Thanks to everyone who have been actually making this a success so far. Looking forward for everybody to keep joining and make this entire series a success. So let's get started. I will try to answer as many questions as possible, but definitely it will all depend on. So Nikhil will be taking more of the coordination there. Okay, if any questions are there, I will be trying to come up for that. So team, yeah, you are also able to hear me, right? Everybody? Okay, perfect. So let's get started. So we are in this roadmap. If you actually see, we are into the section where we are going to talk upon model builder, data grounding, and data libraries. So what we are actually going to focus on today is we are going to look into the mechanism where we can actually read PDF files. How do you read PDFs? Till now, your agent has been doing small tasks like you have been asking them different prompts, you have been giving them flows, you have been giving them apex classes, and they are responding you back. Now how about that I want to ground my data? As I was taking an example earlier as well, let's take suppose I have got a PDF where I have set up certain permissions, okay, and there is a hypercare support going on. Now as part of the hypercare support, what is going to happen that we will have certain set of permissions which are regularly to be given to the users, right? And the users might not be aware of it. Correct. There can be scenarios कि उनको पता ही नहीं है कि हमको भाई क्या permissions देने हैं, and they will be coming on the application and they will be continuously saying my application is not running. Now how do we take care of that? Okay, so what I can do is I can create a basic PDF in which the basic permissions are already added. These are the basic permissions which are needed by the user. These fields should be given this level of permissions. Okay, so now whenever the person, the user who is going to use this application can come in and they can ask that question in the backend कि हाँ भाई why is this not working, and the question's answer will be as simple as that the reason can be that you have not added these permissions because you have already grounded that PDF in the backend. So now whatever is not solvable by the agent will be that will be taken care by the normal humans, whereas the rest of the things can be easily taken care by the agents itself. That is what we are looking into. Along with that, we will be also looking into models. Okay, so right now, what is model builder? So we had talked about this in the last session, that is bring your own model concept, the BYOM concept. So you can actually have your own models as well as you can customize your own LLMs, right? So that is what we are going to focus on today. So these are the two topics which we will be covering extensively. So moving forward, again, the agenda, as I already told, we will be first going through the same process. We will be talking upon whatever the basic social media winners are. We will be going into doubt solving session. We will be giving it 3 to 4 minutes, 5 minutes of time. If anybody has any questions, we will definitely love to hear them. And then we will be starting to see the data grounding and the retrievers, how the model builders look like, and how we will take the next assessments into picture. So if you see the first winner of this session where we had actually declared about engagement videos. Okay, so the last session we talked about having engagement videos to be shared upon on LinkedIn and social media, and there are two winners over here. Okay, we have got Sheetal and Aditya. They have shared their videos. Okay, and their solution also I have checked, it is quite appropriate. They have done quite good work over here. And along with that, we have also got the social media winners. So these are the social media winners for this particular last session, if you see Komal Kumari, then we have got Jatin, and then we have also got Tanu Malik. Thanks to all of them for actually putting a lot of creative social media posts. This time there were a lot of social media posts which were quite creative. It was difficult to select. And then going forward for the assessment winners, I understand this month, I think most of them have been actually pretty busy with their busy workloads. So we have only got one assessment winner. There were a couple of submissions to me, but Aditya has been more accurate and he has done a good job there. So thanks to Aditya and good work. Keep it going. Okay, so I will just again talk about the same participation rules. We have got the same, we will have to have at least 9 out of 12 sessions. Okay, we will have to make sure that the assessments are getting completed on time. Okay, for that, each and everything we are calculating. Even there are vouchers which will be actually released later on. Okay, based on the task completions, how much you have completed, what you have done so far. Based on that, we will be having those coming in. Now, the same engagement question, this is the same post, which is going from quite some time. How to create your engagement posts, what will be your agent previews contest. Similarly, what will be there in your, uh, so now we will be actually talking about the prompt templates. So the last time we were actually talking about prompt templates, we had actually seen that in the prompt template, we have an option of selecting the models, right? So if you see around the models, let me try to go into the screen as well. So hope my screen is visible to all. So when you are actually going into your prompt template, the prompt template will give you the option to change your models as well. So let's go to prompt template. So when you go into a new prompt template, you give it any name. Okay, so let's give it as a name as test models. And then if you go next, if you see there the model type on the left hand side, this model type is basically displaying two options. You have got the standard models, the already the LLMs which are already available to you. And then you have also got the custom models. The custom model is the one which is actually called as your bring your own model concept, the BYOM. So what we can actually do is we can use an existing model and we can streamline it. Now, how do we utilize or how do we build this? Okay, so for that, we will have to actually understand few major contexts. For example, if you are thinking about the data grounding, when we start with data grounding, the data grounding will require you PDFs. Okay, so you will have to first understand what is a Agentforce data library for this. So we will get started with it. We will actually start looking into the Agentforce data library. So when you go into your model or your agent, in your Agentforce Studio, you might be seeing an option which is actually for your section where you select the Agentforce data. So let's actually see that first. So anybody in house, anybody has any questions, please ask me. I will actually respond accordingly. Okay. So basically, for example, if I'm going to this Agentforce default and I try to see it in the builder, we already saw it last week, or if you see the latest releases has already made the name of topics to be renamed as subagents now. Now within this subagents, if you actually go in, the second option is called as the data library. If you see, this is a data library which you are directly seeing into picture. This is the place from where you can start your data grounding with. Okay, so how do we create this library? We will have to first go in and create a Agentforce data library in the backend. How do we do that? It's very simple. We have to just go in and in the left hand side, if you see, we have already got the Agentforce data library available. When I click on this, you will see the option of adding a library to your place. Okay. So when I click on this new library, I will give a name. For example, I will actually try to give a name as PDF testing model. And then I will save it. Once I save this, it will actually ask you data sources to be added. Okay, now what are data sources all about? These data sources will be basically looking in for what kind of data you want to add into. If you see, there are three options available over here. The first one is files. Okay. The second one is web. The third one is custom retrievers. Okay. So let's talk about all of them. If you see about files, files are nothing but where you can actually load your Word files, your PDF files. When you load them, they will get saved in the form of a file in the backend, and this file will be added into your data cloud. So everybody will have to understand, we will have to have data cloud available for this particular implementation. Okay. So anybody who has done data cloud so far?
Yeah. Yes.
Done, right? So what does data cloud support?
Retriever, right?
They support retrievers. What else can you do with data cloud?
It can give a structured data and make it structured and use it as the results using retrieval only.
Okay. Anything else? What is the main purpose of data cloud here? Why do we need data cloud altogether?
That is used to create a single view of a person, and also, yeah, making structured data out of the unstructured. So there are two use cases of.
Yes, basically, if you actually see what happens is we might be right now, Salesforce has brought in this concept newly, but if you see it from the beginning, okay, Salesforce already has a concept that other orgs were already having that you were having Snowflake, for example. Snowflake is once a system where your multiple data can be ingested together. Okay. Similarly, Salesforce also brought in the same concept that I can also build out my single unified profile platform, which can be used later on. Okay. For example, I started my business with some other technology. After some time, I shifted to another technology, and then somebody suggested me about Salesforce. Okay, so when you see people coming in that particular ratio with different organizations, different technologies altogether, and then you are migrating towards Salesforce, what is going to happen is you will be actually having a unified platform where you can keep your data together. Else, what will happen? You will have duplicate data across. Okay, so how do you know that your data is unified? It is well segregated. Okay, so for that, you will always require a single platform, and that single platform now is renamed as data cloud. You can even call it as CDPs. We actually know this concept of CDP where you're combining multiple sources together. Okay, now in this, when you are going to load a particular file, any file, whenever you're going for a file, this file will get converted into an ADL. It will be rendered as ADL underscore the particular file name in your data lake object. Now, there are three objects which you have to basically understand as a part of the data cloud. I will try to actually brief about them, and anybody has any questions during that phase can ask me. So the first thing which we have to understand when we go with data cloud is, okay, so data cloud will have data stream, data lake object, and data model object. Okay, so how will you set up your data cloud? So you will have to first of all go into this particular section, and here you will have to go to data cloud setup. For those who have not done your data cloud setup, you can actually click on this data cloud setup. Okay, what it will do is it will start running in the background, and it will set up an interface, a space for you where your all data will go in. Okay, if you see, my data is already ready. If you see, there is an home org instance created for me. Whereas if I don't have this instance, for example, who all are doing it for the first time in your orgs right now, you will be seeing this data cloud option coming into your page where you will be setting up the data cloud interface. Once you set up the data cloud interface, okay, from here, then you will have the data cloud tab available in your app launcher. So when you click on this data cloud, you will be seeing a complete interface which is having all the data cloud objects into it. So let's see that interface. And anybody who has not initiated that sync, I would say now you can start syncing your data cloud into it. Okay, so if you see this entire app, this app has got multiple tabs available: data streams, data lake objects, data models, Governance, Explorer, similarly, you will be having identity resolutions. Each and every tab has a significant feature to perform. Okay, so I will try to ask some questions here. Anybody who is having the answer can give me, else I will help you out. So what is a data stream altogether?
Data stream is used to ingest the data from source.
Ingest the data from sources.
Data
From outside. Okay, so anytime when you are trying to bring in your data from an external source, okay, it might be the Salesforce or which you are connected to, it might be any external source, so you will have this option of data stream coming into picture. So when you go into your data stream, what happens is any data stream will ask you for different connectors. Okay, so I see some answers coming up. Okay, so yeah, basically, yes, ingestion from different sources. So if you actually see this, okay, so we have got the ingestion API available. Ingestion API is like you can have your own external API to pull in the data from, whereas you can even import it from your current Salesforce orgs. Along with that, if you go into this org, you can even have file uploads. For example, I have an entire database which was actually an old CRM or an old legacy system. I want to just import those tables of the SQL into this data cloud. I can even do that by going via file upload mechanism. Along with that, if you will see, there are different connectors available. Okay, these connectors are by default available in your data cloud just to ingest your data. So for example, if you are already having your data into multiple systems, you can directly do that from this particular area. So one of them which is very useful is AWS. Many people actually store their files because file storage is always a concern within Salesforce. So many people try to store their storage of files into AWS, and then from AWS they bring in the data. Okay, so now once you will actually go into this page and you will create your new data stream, okay, that data stream will be now converted first of all into data lake objects. Data lake objects is nothing but they are your raw data. The raw data which is coming up from your external connection. Okay, for example, my external connect had got 100 PDF files. It has also got 10-20 different tables. All those tables will be converted in the form of DLOs, the data lake objects. Once the data lake objects gets created, then you will have to create a mapping to your data model object. Okay, what data model object actually does? Anybody who knows what is the significance of data model object?
It is used to map the data and kind of structure the data using the filters and.
Okay. Anybody else? What is data? It is actually a kind of mapping, that is correct. What else? Anything else which you can also think of? So you are already storing your data in the data cloud in the form of data lake objects, right? So you are already having your data which is unstructured. You are having your data structured. All things comes into your DLO. Now, when you go into your DLO, that DLO will have that particular feature that it will have to be mapped into a specific object to which you want to store your data to. That is your unified space, right? So that unified space basically comes in the form of data model objects. And from this data model object, you are going to define all your rules. Basically, now your data gets unified from here after applying your ingestion rules, after applying your matching rules, your fuzzy rules, whatever you are going to add upon. All those based on those rules, your data will be unified from this data model object. Okay. So, for example, if you see the Salesforce CRM and I actually just do next. So it will actually bring in all the bundles which is available within my org. Since it is already connected to Salesforce, so it will first come into my org itself. Okay, and here if you see, you will be loaded with all the data model, the data lake objects which are available for this particular bundle. Else, you will be also able to select your objects. Just allow it a second to load.
Which is the best practice to do? Use the bundle or use the objects?
Best practice will be always to go for objects as of now. Bundles are useful when you are actually having multiple connectors. At that time, you can actually go with bundles. Because bundles has actually got different objects. For example, if you see the field service core, The field service core has got its own. This is actually on FSL. It has got its own level of objects available. Might be your package or might be your org doesn't have support for all those objects. Okay. Similarly, if you are going with loyalty management, at that time those objects are not available. But now think that I am want to set up a loyalty management store, and this loyalty management store, I already have the loyalty cloud domain along with me. At that situation, I will actually use this bundle. Automatically those bundle objects will be available to me to use. Make sense? Yes, it will cover almost all complex scenarios. Okay, so when you go with objects, the most simplified way is that you have your own objects to select upon. Now you will, whatever the objects you have set up, for example, loyalty cloud might be coming up with 10-15 specific objects, but you have also got your own custom objects into. So now this loyalty managed bundle will actually bring in only those objects. Now you will again require the extra feature. That is the reason I told that you should actually have the option of going with objects so that you can add all them together as per your own data model. So let the objects load in. So bundles are like, for example, one question which has been asked by Aditya is, what are bundles? Bundles are like, for example, when you are actually taking a health cloud data model org. So a health cloud data model org has got appointments, it has got doctors, it has got clinics, it has got its own plan of care available. So that means different objects comes inside it. Okay, so when you particularly take in that particular bundle, all the data will be clubbed into that particular object, which was a part of your health cloud data model. If you're not taking that bundle, you can create that bundle by using your own view object section, from where you are selecting your own objects as per your own convenience. But Salesforce will actually give you the specific bundle for the domain which you are using.
Basically, I get all the standard objects are.
Yes, all the standard objects bundled together into one single view. Yes. Okay, so now when you see here, you will be able to see all the objects coming in. Okay, all the objects come in over here. From here, you can create your data stream. Whenever you create your data stream, what will happen in the backend? Okay, in the backend, it will actually create your records. It will process the data. For example, if you see, I had created the data stream for the flow records. So it automatically ingested all the flow record data into it. And you see the number over here. Okay, so each and every time you create a data stream, that data stream will pull in all the data from those external source, whatever the source you are giving in, and bring in all those records. Once those records are brought in, you will be able to see them in your data lake object. Once the data lake object is available, then you convert them into data model objects via mapping. So if you see here, this is your data lake object. Here, you might be seeing different files coming in. Since I had actually uploaded one PDF test, I had actually done an ADL. I had created an Agentforce data library earlier where I added the PDF. So that actually got converted into an ADL underscore PDF test. Whatever the name of the particular data library I give and whatever the files I add, all of them will get added into this ADL record.
So that means if we upload anything in data library by creating data library,
it will automatically start reflecting in your data lake object in the form of ADL. Okay, so when you create this ADL, when this ADL is created in the backend from setup, okay, we will see that. So now let's try to actually see that now. I will try to take a file. Okay, and then I will try to select a file. Let's see if I have any PDF files available. I don't know. I had to actually save a different file today. So I will just see if I can actually bring something. Okay, I will take a particular PDF. Okay, so I am taking a particular PDF, and when you will actually click on upload, okay, basically when you will click on upload, you will have this upload button available. When you click on this upload button, it will actually start processing your data. It will actually start processing your data, and it will have the D2T convert it into an ADL in the data lake object first. Okay, so let's try to actually click on upload. So if you see, the chunking has begun. Okay, so it takes a minute or two to chunk your data and then put it over into your data lake object.
How many files we can upload at a time?
We can upload up to the total size of the files can be 10 MB. Okay, so you can actually add around 10, 15, 20 files.
All will be named as ADL and
Yes, they will actually get created in the form of, in that particular object, all these chunkings will be created.
so there will be multiple files. We have to map it
Yes,
with building relationship, right?
correct. We will have to map them using relationship, which field you want to map your data to, and then you can utilize it. Even if you don't want to map it, since it is an unstructured data, you will be able to use that in the form of data model object also. I will be showing you now. Let the upload complete.
Nikhil, by that time there is some questions. Maybe you can answer that on
Yeah,
the
sure.
chat.
Sure. So I see, do we have a view objects available create by data? Yes, there is a view objects option. This is all coming by default. It is added as a part of the data cloud when you are going for data streams. You will have that bundles adding automatically available. What is data space? Data space is nothing but the unified space where you are going to unify your data into. For example, right now in your Salesforce, you might be seeing your org has a definite space, but it cannot be actually unified data. You can put in duplicate records. You can bring in. So now suppose I want to have a connector to bring in data from multiple systems together. So I will require a space where I can add all these records together and convert them. So that particular space is called as a data space as a part of the data cloud.
But it was something like used for a particular department.
No, it is not specifically a department. What it exactly does is in the backend, when you are actually using the data space, this data space which they create by default, they are actually allowing you to add that data, whichever you are processing in, to be kept into one single platform. So in the meanwhile, I don't see any other questions as of now. I will start proceeding. You can ask questions in the meanwhile. So now, when I click on done, so you will see this file has been added, but there is something important that you will have to wait for this to get ready. If you see, the status of this particular library is still not started. Once this is started, okay, and it is ready, then only it is useful to use it in the data libraries or in the data cloud. Okay, so let's actually see right now. If you go inside the library setup, see this file is still not started, whereas this PDF test which I had created earlier is already ready. Okay, what this PDF test as of now contains, this is also having a different PDF file into it. Okay, it has got a patient scheduling mechanism file added into it, okay, which is available. Now, in the moment, till the moment the file gets ready, let's actually try to move towards the data cloud and again see the further steps. So when you go into your data model, if you see in the data lake object, for the PDF test, I had added one PDF file. You see, there is a PDF index created. Why this PDF index is created? Anybody knows what this PDF index does?
Sequencing column or we on which column we enabled indexes.
Sequencing.
Useful when we are searching any keywords or that time.
Sequencing. Okay, any other?
I had a doubt in indexing and chunking.
Okay, no worries. So see, basically what happens is your data, whatever PDF you are actually loading in. Okay, so all that data which you load in actually are first of all needed to be retrieved. Okay, so how will the unstructured data be retrieved? So unstructured data basically gets retrieved based on indexes. These indexes are created once the chunks are created. What are chunks? Basically, your unstructured data cannot be read directly. There is a binary format which runs in the backend, which will convert this RAG file into an indexed format of 0 and 1, a binary format. And that binary format will be indexed, and this indexing will be used for your reading of the files. So whenever you load in a data library, whenever you are loading in a PDF file, these three things in data cloud happens by default. The first, it will create a chunk. Multiple chunks will be created based on the PDF size, and it will have indexes. All those chunks and indexes are useful for reading the files from the data cloud. Yes, every time, every unstructured file which you put in, it will automatically create its indexes and chunks. Why? Because now when you will add this into your agent or when you will add it into your prompt builder, what is going to happen is you will be actually able to read that data based on these indexes. And from where these indexes comes in? From the chunks which has been created. Make sense? Okay. So now once this is created, if you go into your data model, by default, there is a specific section for that ADL as well. Let's open that data model. Let's see that. You see, this ADL PDF test has already been added. And if you see, the chunks have been added for it, a chunk and an index. Now, why this is there? This is for the mapping purpose. Now, how will they map their data? Earlier, when we were actually using our custom objects or we were using the standard objects, I told in the data lake object, you will have an option of mapping. So if you go into any of the data lake object, for example, I go into say AI agent session, for example. Okay, so in this AI agent session, you will be seeing a space for mapping the fields. On the right hand side, if you see, this is a section where you map your fields to, correct? This field mapping actually does create a data model object for you in the backend for mapping the data, correct?
So is there a difference between like mapping the data in data stream and data lake object?
Yes, there is a difference. Okay, so basically, see, when you are actually in your data lake object, whatever the data was, as is, that data has been kept into your data lake object. It is a raw data. But now for unifying that data, they cannot take it from the data lake object. They are considering data lake object to be the source, the single source of truth for them, for all the data coming in. And from this data model object, they are going to pull in the data, okay, and map it accordingly. So data model object is basically for mapping it to the specific objects to which you want to get the data from. Anybody else has any question in this part? So what is, okay, you have given the answer. Okay, fine. So I think Rahul is already answering some of the questions. Thanks for that. Yeah. So basically, now when you were actually into your PDF file, in your PDF file, the PDF file automatically got created with the data model object because your ADL considers this as an unstructured data model. It will create your table in both the places so that it can map the data from this data model object and consider data lake object as a single source of truth for them. So once that indexing is created, now you will also have to understand the search indexes and the Einstein Studio. Now, this is a very interesting section to go upon. Everybody just pay attention for this important part. If you see this section of Einstein Studio and Data Cloud, you will have a section called as retrievers. This is the most important thing to always keep in mind. These retrievers are the keys which will allow you to read the data from the PDFs. Any PDF which you are loading in will depend on this retriever only. Okay, how this retriever gets created? So when you actually take that particular PDF, it will create a search index for it in the backend. Search index is like a key which is going to be useful for getting responses from your prompts or from your agents. Understood? Anybody has any questions here?
Will we be creating the retriever here?
Yes, we will be seeing that. Okay, so once this retriever is there, okay, you will have to then look for search indexes. Okay, so search index basically will be for every PDF file, whatever you have loaded. If you see, this is added with PDF test. This is ready. This should be in ready status. Then only it is considered that your file can be read upon. If you see this search index last run status, if the search index last run status is ready, that means we are good to proceed with the particular file to read from. Okay, and this key we will have to always remember if you are actually working with prompt templates. In prompt templates, you can actually use this search index for searching your data. So this retriever key will be your ideal key while you are passing it in the prompt template for searching the PDF values. Okay, so let's see if that file has started. I don't see it has it's still started. It takes a little bit of time to actually complete this. So once that is completed, we will be seeing the key mapping. Let's wait for a minute or two. Yeah, so it is now, if you see the status has changed, it is right now in progress. In some time, it will be ready. Once this is ready, we will be going into our data streams and then proceeding with the further process. In the meanwhile, let's actually see, while you have actually built out your ADL was already ready. This is a ready ADL which you are seeing, right? Now, anybody has any questions first of all, or else I will actually ask some questions here. Anybody has any questions, or I can go ahead with my questions? Okay, I will try to be a little bit slow. I think I am going a little bit fast. Okay, I will try to reduce my pace then. Yeah. So anybody has any questions so far? If not, we will have to actually remember what slide. I am going to talk about one of the slides here. So let me move forward. So this is a very important slide for everybody to understand how the process basically works in the background. Okay. So if you see my space, this is called as the Agentforce data library. Once you are creating the Agentforce data library, automatically the data streams gets created. Now from this data streams, you will be finding your data lake object, which is appended with ADL. So you will be seeing ADL underscore the file name. Okay. Then you will have the data model object. Okay. Which will actually be the reference of the mapped indexes. And then from this data model, the chunks and the indexes gets created. If you see, if you are having a normal file, an unstructured file, it gets into RAG. What is RAG? Anybody knows what is RAG? No full forms. What it does exactly?
It does some reasoning, I guess.
Yes, it has an algorithm in the back end. Anybody who knows what is the function, what happens with retrieval?
RAG is collecting data from all the sources and it is provided to LLM, and LLM is giving a response in a natural language as output.
Yes, almost. Yes. Okay. Any other thoughts? Anybody has any other idea? Retrieving data from external sources. No, retrieving data from external source is done via data streams, but RAG basically keeps all your unstructured data. Whatever unstructured files, I have PDFs, I have videos, I have got images, all these actually get stored in the form of RAG files in the backend. Why RAG files? Because these unstructured files can only be read upon when you are going with a particular algorithm, and that algorithm can be applied only on the RAG files. That's the reason when you are actually creating a basic file, okay, this RAG file UDMO is nothing but a unstructured data model for this RAG file which you are loading in. Okay. Once these chunks and indexes are created, it moves towards the retrievers. The retrievers gets generated, and from this retriever, you will be having the default retriever and the Agentforce data library retriever. The default retriever is basically useful for your RAG files, whatever files you are bringing in, be it AWS, be it any other files which you are bringing in. But for the Agentforce data library, there will be a specific retriever brought in. This retriever will be then used via the search indexes. So search indexes are linked to your retrievers to pull in the data from. Okay. And once that is ready, once this search index is in ready status, it is to be used by the Agentforce agents. That is how your ADL files basically work in the backend. Okay. If anybody actually asks how ADL works, this is the basic process to understand it. Okay. I hope I am very clear to everybody. Anybody has any doubts here? People who are actually attending it virtually, I think they should be also clear. Any questions there? I am taking a pause. Any questions?
There is some question on the chat, Nikhil.
Okay.
If there's some changes in object record or data, so do we need to start again from the data stream process or further actions?
Yes, so it is actually the same way, right? So once you are actually bringing in your data stream, when you are putting the connector, okay, it is not going to actually take in the data only for the specific objects which you have defined. It is basically like it will be stream the data and the objects which you have already connected. So every time you refresh it or every time it will run in an incremental manner, it will have two options. It will have either incremental refresh or it can be a delta refresh. So incremental refresh, incremental is like delta, whatever the changes are happening, and then there is something called as full refresh as well. So in full refresh, what it will do is delete the data from the backend and again recreate it for you.
Perfect.
Okay. And I think there was one more question. I had missed out that. What is the significance of changing the name of topic with subagent? I am also not aware of this question, buddy, but definitely might be they are actually thinking of it in a different way because they might be saying that these are topics are collections of different actions together, right? So might be they are actually calling it as a sub agent for them rather than calling it a topic. Earlier it was named as topics, but if you see the functionality, it is actually taking several functionalities into one single collection. So might be that is the reason they are calling it as a sub agent, similar to your sub flows. When you go into flows, you have the option of having sub flows, right? So similarly, they are actually trying to rename it as a sub agent. Okay. Okay, I will again then continue. So let's go back to the file and see where we are. So just a second. हुआ सिस्टम को शायद शायद let's see. Okay, so now once you see this, now let's wait for the PDF file. Let's see whether it has been completed or not. Else, in the meanwhile, I will actually invite Rahul. He will be also showing your knowledge library, how it is to be used. I see this is ready now. So if you are actually going into your data lake object, inside your data lake object, now you will be seeing the ADF PDF testing model, right? So ADL basically is your Agentforce data library. And from there, they have created an index and they have created a chunk for it. Similarly, in the data model, they have also created the PDF testing model and its chunks. If you see, these are several chunks which are being added. You see, PDF testing model, its chunk, its index. 3 files in total. The first one is for the file name, the second one is its index, and the third one is its chunks. Okay. Now, if you go inside your Einstein Studio, go inside your retrievers. See, the retriever of PDF testing model has got a search index available to it. If you click on this search index, let's see its status. See,
It's compulsory to create search index first, right?
yes, the search indexes. Here in ADL, it is by default getting created. If you see, I didn't do anything. It created my chunks and my indexes automatically, but I have to just make sure that the search index should be ready to use. If the search index is ready to use, then only I will be able to utilize it. Now, if I go into my prompts, I will go into the prompt builder. So let's go into the prompt builder. So there are two ways of using it. I am actually first showing you the prompt template part, and then we will be seeing the agent part as well. So for the agent part, Rahul will be there to depict a particular demo. So here, when we go into new prompt template, take it of type flex. Why? Because flex supports free text. We will give it a name. Say the name can be testing PDFs. And then I will just do next. And here, if you see in the left hand side, you will have your overview, right? So here you will have to add your retrievers, right? So when you actually do the resources part, this will look for the actions and the inputs, what inputs you want to pass, what actions you want to pass, right? So if you will actually go inside this retriever, see this retriever, see the PDF testing model has been already added. So now I can use this retriever for my dataset testing purpose. I use this, and then in my properties, I can actually check what all things it is going to take in. It is going to consider a search text. For example, let's take some data from that particular PDF file. Okay, so um, if you actually see it, let's actually insert a resource here. So I will have to again check the PDF. Let me check the PDF, what details that PDF has. We loaded a Salesforce information, right? So just allow me a second to reach out to that particular PDF file. Okay, I'm just passing as of now, I'm just passing a normal value. Let's see what it actually does. So Trailblazer in campus. And now I will try to apply and insert this. So it will actually ask the required fields. What is missing out? Search. Is this not able to find the search text? 1 minute. So we will be passing the search text. Let's see what search text I can actually pass into it. So I am taking, say, the user's email, and I will try to do apply and research. If you see, automatically in your research, in the resource, it has added it as a retriever file. Okay, now if you actually go inside this particular retriever, okay, you can directly call it anytime now, because I have actually configured the search text inside it and to check the data. Okay, now when I am actually going to do save and preview, you will see it will give you a particular resolve prompt based on the data which I am trying to search on. If it doesn't find anything, it will try to just get the data. So how did this happen? This was happening from the search index. The search index which was created, if you see, it is taking in and it is bringing in some data from there. What are the things implicated? What are the data chunks available? It is going to read the data from there, and it is again going to have a response time and the tokens being utilized. Okay. Similarly, if you want to again change the model, you can again, the same way, you can again change the model. You can go to some other model which is faster to response. And again, you can do save and preview. Again, it will actually try to generate the response based on that particular PDF. Okay. You can even, so you see, every time it is going to search the data from this, and it is going to give you the details what is there in that particular PDF. Okay, now I will hand it over to Rahul. So Rahul, you can take the stage, please. So you can actually log in into the system. You can use the same laptop, right? Yeah, so in the meanwhile, if anybody has any questions, please ask me. And we are going to also see a knowledge file being added into it. Okay, so the next step is to see a knowledge file and to see it working with the agent. In the performance insights, is there a limit of tokens? So basically, I had talked about this tokens in the last session as well. So basically, if you go to your overview, right, this overview has got limits. Okay. Basically, what is the token limit of the particular LLM which you are using? It tries to give you all those details as a part of this particular LLM which you are using. So this actually becomes helpful when you are previewing your data from multiple external systems, right? So when you are going to have a particular LLM, how many tokens are getting consumed? What is the performance of your LLM? All these are very important for the business perspective to get proper responses. Yeah, Rahul, you can try.
Earlier when I was using this prompt filter, so there was a issue of, the view and the format of this text which is getting generated is in a different way.
Correct. So earlier there was a specific pointer. Okay, basically what the question which the which
Salman.
so Salman has a question here. So he is actually saying the view of the prompt builder. So basically earlier that was a legacy view which was not having all the details clearly, but now they have brought in the concept of resolved prompt and the generated response. Resolved prompt basically is helpful for you to understand how the data in the backend is getting stored in the form of a JSON. Okay. Yeah, hi Nikhil. Okay. Okay, nothing. So you can actually use this particular one. Why I actually showed you this particular one is, suppose I want to read my data from a PDF and I want to customize that as per my own needs. I will have to have that retriever index. From that retriever index, how the data has been stored, it is being stored in the result file. Okay, so that means if I actually do a query on the retriever key, and from there if I actually try to parse the response and get the result, I can parse and get the values from it, the body, the field, and I can tweak it as per my own need. That is the reason this resolved section comes in, whereas the generated prompt is based on the understanding of the chunk, it is giving you the prompt. Okay, any other questions anybody has? Yeah, Rahul, would you like to take it?
Yes.
Yeah, so please.
Thank you, Nikhil. Okay, guys. Yes, Salman.
You want to share your screen?
Yes, I already shared it.
Okay, you're already
Nikhil, I think
sharing it.
you might have to unshare it.
Okay. Okay, I have actually stopped.
Good morning,
So
everyone.
currently we see this Agentforce Studio wala screen. Is that the one which is your, Rahul?
Correct.
Perfect. Continue, please. Thanks.
Okay. Nikhil has explained how file uh, data library we are using and how it is responding to us. So now I'm explaining knowledge-based library where agent will give the answer to all the questions which user will ask. Okay. For the knowledge library, first we need to enable knowledge setting from the setup. Once you enable your knowledge setting, you will get knowledge options in the data library. Just clicking on the library. You can see here in the data type, you will get knowledge option. In this knowledge options, you have to select which field will be identify your response. So I'm selecting answer and the questions field. Along with these two fields, I want to use title, summary, and the URL here, and I'll save it. With this setting, you will able to enable your knowledge article or knowledge management session, and then you can access that knowledge as a data type in the data library, and you can connect with your Agentforce. I have already created one data library with the knowledge. So